To create this course, I shot in a couple dozen different locations. Each presented visual challenges. For example, I shot in a commercial bakery, an artist's studio, and a restaurant kitchen. In each case, I planned and completed the shoot, knowing in advance how much material and what kinds of shots I would need to tell visually interesting and complete stories. So, the first order of business before you head off to do a shoot is to create a shot sheet. For most folks, there's no need to actually write it down, but you do need to consider the points you're going to make in your story. And then figure out all the kinds and quantities of shots you need to support those points and fill their respective time slots in your video. It's easy to forget that you also need scene transitions, shots that help you get from one scene to another. Those might be as simple as a shot of a sign, a product, or someone walking into a building. I'll go over several techniques in this course. Bottom line, scene transitions make it easier to edit your story. You also need to consider the location, interior, exterior, or both. If it's indoors, well, you need lights. Lights add sparkle and depth to otherwise dull shots. Not everyone owns a light kit, but there are times when it's worth your while to rent one. I suggest you track down a kit or two before you actually need one. Who are your interview subjects? Will these be sit-down interviews, walking around interviews, or simply catching sound bites as people go about their business? Each situation needs a different approach. If you're going to spend the day walking around backwards as your interview subject moves through a scene, you'll need someone to watch your back. How are you going to mic your interview subjects and other elements of your shoot? Well, for interviews, I like to use wireless lavalier mics like this because they're much less obtrusive than handheld mics, which tend to make people nervous when you stick them in their face like this. Also, on my camcorder, I like to use shotgun mics because I know that whichever direction I point my camera, I'm going to get some high-quality natural sound. If you're covering a speech, news conference, or meeting, a wireless handheld mic on a mic stand works well. Check the venue in advance. You might be able to get audio from their PA system. You almost always will need to use a tripod. Getting steady shots is a must for most shoots, so do have a tripod on hand no matter what the situation. I sometimes use a monopod. It's not as steady as a tripod, but it's easier to maneuver and comes in handy if I want to get a high-angle shot. If you're going to follow action by moving along with it using so-called trucking, dolly, or Steadicam style shots, you might want to look around online for some low-cost gear that'll work with your camcorder. No matter how well you plan, something will go awry. So you need to be flexible, improvise, consider other possibilities. At worst, you might discover that the story you had in mind is not at all what's playing out in front of you. In those cases, you need to do a mental rewrite, whether you've got a formal script or not. If you take the time to plan your shoot, you'll be better able to deal with the inevitable surprises.